Welcome back to the Janchi Show. Every time I come in and you guys start laughing, I know. All I'm doing is saying welcome to the Janchi Show, and you guys are laughing. Okay,
it's not your words.
I know.
It's your person. It's who you are.
Try that again.
Laughing with you.
Welcome back to the Janchi Show. You do it like that.
Gonna run the gain back on that one a little bit. Bring the gain down on that one.
Welcome back to the Janchi. No, sorry.
That just sounds like the beginning of Rawhide.
Yeah, I know.
Rawhide.
You're listening to the Janchi Show, hosted by 3 Korean American adoptees diving headfirst into what it means to be adopted, Korean American, and more. And now, here's your hosts, Nathan, Patrick, and KJ.
Welcome back to the Janchi Show. My name is Nathan Nowak. I am one of your hosts. Now I sound like a game show announcer. I know. I'm sorry. I'm here with KJ and Patrick. I can't do a good intro, so I'm just going to pass it on to them.
I feel like every now and then, whenever someone rolls in, like no matter how many times we've done it, someone gets the yips, and we're just like, "What? Hi." So I definitely understand.
Well, we never came up with just like this is our intro script. We're just like, here's the show, and you know what? We've already done it too long now. I don't think that we can go scripted. I think we have to continue.
I feel
doing
like
it
every intro should be different, just like The Simpsons. A little bit unique in a way, like a little hidden Easter egg or something.
Technically, that's though, every intro is the same. I think our intros are akin to The Simpsons, though, in that they are very similarly structured, but something different happens each time.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I think it's, we've got the cold open, and then we've got the title sequence, and then we've got the beginning of Act 1 for every episode, and you never know exactly what you're going to get. So, but no episode is the same. Anyways, this is the Janchi Show. We get our name from the Korean word janchi, which means to feast or to celebrate. And we did that intentionally because we're here to celebrate our intersectional identities as Korean adoptees, as men, as married people, as whatever else creates our identities, and also to feast either on a food or drink item from the Korean snack aisles, or sometimes it's like actual not snack foods, but usually it's snack foods.
Mostly snack foods,
which we may, expand on, right?
Nathan, I love that you keep promising that. You're like,
you
hey,
you
never know. In 4 weeks, we're gonna try some real food.
Spoiler
and then 4
alert,
weeks, he's like, in 7 weeks, we're. How did you get a bag in here?
Your box. Sorry.
Spoiler alert. Look under your seat.
Listeners,
look under your seats.
Everyone, look under your seat right now.
You're a winner.
And we've been arrested for breaking and entering into people's homes.
I mean, we're basically Santa Claus.
Exactly. That's legal,
all right. I do agree with that.
We got listeners from all over the world. We got people from obviously America and the North American continent, but we have people from West Asia, from Eastern Europe, from North Africa. Actually, wait, I don't know if that one is accurate, but the rest of them are accurate. East Asia, South America, basically all the places. Is it real people? Is it just bots? Who's to say? Maybe it's real people using VPNs. But either way, we appreciate you.
The United Arab Emirates is number 3 at 0.71% of our listenership.
I've always wanted to go there.
Right ahead of South Korea, coming at 0.7 and number 4.
Right ahead of South Korea.
So shout out to our followers in the UAE. Appreciate you.
Yeah,
that was me. That was my serious voice, but also elated.
Welcome to Sirius XM with Patrick Armstrong.
Ooh, that's good. And everybody, thank you for coming back to the Patrick Armstrong XM on Sirius show. That's a great title, I think.
No.
I don't even remember what it was. I've already forgotten it.
So tomorrow is Thanksgiving when this airs.
Not for us in real time, but by the time it hits your ear holes, if you listen to it on the day it's released.
What are you guys planning?
Well, all of my family is leaving town the first year that Sarah and I have moved back. They're like, oh, you guys are back. We're going away now.
Later.
So Sarah and I we're going to go over to my sister-in-law's place and eat some whatever food, probably so my sister-in-law, her partner is Puerto Rican, so I'll probably have some Puerto Rican food. I might try to bring some Korean food or something.
Dude,
I don't know.
totally.
Just have a bunch of not white food, which sounds really great because we'll have to do the more traditional white Thanksgiving stuff later. Although I think we're doing a bunch of stuff, but for the actual day of Thanksgiving, it'll just be eating and hanging out with our family who didn't abandon us.
Yikes.
Wow.
That's the best way to say that, right?
Hot take.
Just triggered about 30% of the people who listen to the show. Well, that sounds fun. I don't know on Thanksgiving Day tomorrow what exactly we're doing yet. I think we'll probably just be hanging out here, but we might go up to her parents. But this weekend we are hosting a combo Thanksgiving and Christmas for on her mom's side of the family. I just said hosting. I was about to say at our house, but that's what hosting means.
Typically, yes. It doesn't have to always be.
Yeah. Pretty excited about it. Excited to throw our hat in the ring of hosting. They all want to help as much as possible, and I feel like we're like, we got this. You guys, I told them to bring their fun attitudes or good attitudes. I don't know. Bring the fun. I'm not sure what I said. But excited to do that, though.
So you guys are cooking all the food?
Most of it, yeah.
Wow.
We've been working on some casseroles, doing a turkey for the first time.
Oh my gosh, I forgot how many casseroles there are for Thanksgiving.
Well, we're like blending Christmas and Thanksgiving together.
Yeah.
Those two holidays and the traditional foods. So having like kind of one main to represent each time, and then just a mix of easier sides, I hope, and then some casseroles, I guess.
All right.
That's what I'm doing. What are you doing, Nathan?
Well, now that we're back in Colorado, we'll be going to my parents' house, and my mom will most likely be doing the traditional stuff with the turkey, the stuffing, the mashed potatoes, maybe a corn casserole. I don't know. It's very traditional stuff, which is great because I haven't had that in a while. I don't think I've been back for Thanksgiving in, I want to say, at least 10 or more years.
Dang.
Because we always came back for Christmas instead. So,
I gotcha.
And we alternated on that. Sometimes we'd stay in California. Sometimes we'd come back here. So, but we almost never came back for Thanksgiving. We always did Thanksgiving in California with my wife's family. And since they are mostly Japanese, it had a very wide range of food items, potluck style, on the plates, and it was always amazing. But I mean, I never had sushi for Thanksgiving, but I did there. I never had, along with a turkey and some stuffing and mashed potatoes.
Oh, but you did have a turkey?
So there'd still be the turkey and kind of some of the traditional stuff, but there'd be like, there'd be short ribs, there'd be, or not short rib, but regular ribs, barbecue ribs, there'd be.
Tonkotsu?
I mean, all the time it was something different because everyone would bring, something unique. We mixed it up too, and would sometimes bring like it was like a cornbread casserole kind of thing. Sometimes one year we even tried to bring like a raw fish dish a recipe that we got from Tahiti. It was
not great.
It was okay. Wasn't as good as the ones we had in Tahiti, but it was, it wasn't bad. So some people liked it.
Nathan's face is like, it was technically food that I could eat.
It was okay. I wouldn't make it again, but yeah, no, I enjoy that. I love potlucks because you get a little variety of food. It's the one thing that I've missed during the pandemic is going to. Well, I haven't been, but the pandemic made me not go to Las Vegas for the last year, or last 2 years, and I always enjoyed the buffets in Vegas, and so
okay. All right.
So I know.
I've never heard literally anyone ever go, I haven't been to Vegas in a year. The pandemic's kept me away. I really love the buffets in Vegas. You guys have not lived until you went to the buffet in the Vegas.
A couple years ago, looking down at his stomach saying, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
No, yeah.
And then cut to a few days later, he's returned to his home and he steps on the scale. And he says, now tell me, we've talked about this.
I don't care about the gambling. I don't care about the nightclub lifestyle. No, I just want the buffets.
That reminds me of
If you asked me 10, 20 years ago, it'd be a different story. But
Parks and Rec gag where they go to a strip club for Tom Haverford's birthday to cheer him up. And Ron Swanson is like, you know, these establishments don't really do it for me, but I will never turn down a free breakfast buffet. There's a breakfast buffet in there. It's
Amazing.
Wild. That's why I love doing the show with you, Nathan. I never know what you're going to say next that I really
Truly.
enjoy. And I really enjoyed
How
that.
did the Vegas buffets compare to the ones in Hawaii?
No, they're still better. I mean,
What
Okay.
makes them so good?
the variety.
Just
I
the
think.
variety.
And it's not just, some of them are outrageously expensive. I mean, again, asked me 20 years ago and the buffet was a completely different story. But these days, you know, I actually will pay the $65 for the buffet because it's like you get your custom tacos, your crab legs, but then you get like I don't know, like venison hamburgers and
I don't know why this is tickling me so
I don't know.
much,
There's
but it's
other
really
things
Because
funny.
Nathan has went to Vegas and instead of blowing his kids' college tuition on gambling, he has
Yeah.
spent it on buffets.
$65 buffet.
The last thing anyone would ever say is that you spent all of your money on in Vegas.
That's
That's incredible.
this
I
is
just
as funny
enjoyed
to me
listening
as
to
you
you
coming
to
out as
talk
a
about this.
BTS army.
Yeah, it's honest, but this is not as surprising. The BTS army or the BTS knowledge
That's
caught
true.
me
That
way
one-
off guard.
I'm a
This-
foodie, so yes.
Yeah, you are a
can
foodie
see.
and you like
I
anything
would
that
think
says
that you
new
would-
on it.
I think that being a foodie means that you'd be like anti-buffets.
Well, I go to the best buffet. I'm not going to the cheap, $5 buffet down,
You're not going to
in,
Old
like-
Country Buffet, Golden
Yeah,
Corral,
exactly. I'm not-
Ryan's
I'm
when
not
that
doing
was an
hometown,
establishment before it got shut down.
yeah.
I loved all
Sorry.
those
Not going to
places.
Genghis Grill.
Those are some of my
/
favorite
Hoo
places.
Hot.
No. You have to go to like the Caesar's Palace buffet or, the Wicked Spoon and Cosmopolitan.
We just had an off-air conversation about your weird flexes, and here you go again. You're going to Old Country Buffet, bro. Find me at Caesar's Palace.
Have you ever
Find me
seen
at the
bone
Caesar's Palace
marrow
buffet.
on a buffet before?
I literally have not.
No.
I literally have never.
I would literally
Okay.
just say no,
There
thank
you go.
you. That's not a flex. That's just gross.
No, it's not. It's really good.
Oh my gosh.
This is an
Well,
incredible episode.
I'm talking to the wrong crowd, I see here.
Okay,
so-
let's shift it back to. Actually, I don't know what I was going to shift it to. I was going to say that this episode is much different, much more subdued than our last year's episode for Thanksgiving. Do you remember what we did last year?
I do not.
I
We
have
had
no
all the
clue.
people on. We had all our previous guests on up to that point in the show,
Oh,
and we had
was
that. We did a
wild.
live, and we did
That was for
whole thing.
Thanksgiving. That wasn't like
Yeah.
a Chuseok
No, it
thing
was
or
a-
anything?
No, it was a Thanksgiving one. Yeah,
Chuseok.
Chuseok.
it was
Yeah,
for
I
Chuseok,
forget.
but I think it was right around Thanksgiving
But it
that
was
we did
closer
that.
to Thanksgiving.
It might have been.
I think it was I think we did a live the day before or something like that. So, but I was saying much more subdued, but then we get talking about buffets and I don't even know what, and maybe not. Maybe
no,
not.
it's all a matter of perspective. I feel like this might be much more subdued than a year ago, but compared to our last solo episode, this one is way up.
This has
So-
gone way up. This has gone way up and completely in another direction.
Oh, well, I mean, it's like the Scrubs formula, like when you know that you got a very serious heartbreak moment coming, then before that you got to just like basically become clowns, and so
Oh,
we're
sure,
doing
sure.
that, but in the opposite direction. Like we just
That
had
makes
kind of a
sense.
serious conversation, and now Nathan's just flexing on what types of buffets to go.
On the Caesar's Palace buffet, you have not lived until you've went to Caesar's Palace and had the buffet. Have you seen bone marrow on a buffet before?
You
Okay, someone leave a comment. Somebody else out there has to be on my side for this.
I want to know. I want to know who has
Anyone
had bone
been to
marrow
the
on a buffet.
Bacchanal? So,
That's incredible. Is that
yes.
it? Is that the show?
Yeah, I think that's the whole
I will
show.
not talk about buffets anymore. We can talk
I
about
want you to.
adoption related
No,
now.
I
Go
want
ahead,
you to
ask
talk
me
about
anything.
buffets. Ask him anything.
This is still Nam, so we are in week 3 of Nam. So
all right. Well, I'll ask you then. What did you write about today? Since you've been sharing.
The topic was belonging. I actually had some trouble with that. It's kind of an interesting topic because I had to look it up, and the first thing I thought of when I saw it is I got kind of triggered because I read it as like belong to,
Oh, sure.
and I'm like, I don't belong to anybody, And then I was like, oh, it's that stupid question. It's like, how much did you cost?
Mhm. Mhm.
Something that no adoptee ever wants to hear, right? And so that's the first I was like, oh, but it's not. It's belonging. Do I feel like I belong here? And I went into just talking about how, like, the definition, belonging is an infinity for a place or situation.
You know, Webster's dictionary defines belonging.
I just wanted to make sure,
Britannica Encyclopedia defines.
I will never.
But so I do. I mean, I have met my biological family, so not to flex on that one, Patrick, before you say it.
I wasn't even going to say it, but
That's actually,
that's
just, I'm thinking. We only call out the weird ones.
Yeah, the buffets. The Caesar's Palace buffet.
Okay.
The many thousands of times you've been to Hawaii.
Yeah.
But, I love my parents and I love my family, and I truly feel connected to them, and they've respected everything that I've done and looked into my adoption about. And there's just been a lot of respect there, and that gives me that closeness and that affinity. So I belong with them. But since meeting my biological family, knowing the situation and why I was adopted, and getting a very similar love and respect from them, and just connecting with them more, I feel like I also belong, have a belonging feeling with them as well. And so my answer, actually, and the thing that I was going to post today, which I will later, I think the answer for me is both. I feel a belonging in both my adoptive family and my biological family, for different reasons, and for having a feeling of loss in both situations as well. One being that my adoptive family, I don't look like them. I'm not DNA related to them. I was raised in a fairly white centric neighborhood, and so it was just I didn't feel like I belonged there. But the opposite is true for Korea. I don't speak the language. I share DNA, but I don't feel like I belong there either because of that. So in the end, I feel like I belong to both. But the one thing I also was going to write about was that I do also feel like I belong.
You belong to the Janchi Boys.
The Janchi Boys.
You
and
belong
the CAD
with we.
community. Yeah. So I definitely have appreciated the community that we have all formed and connected with. So
yeah,
that
definitely.
is my spiel.
I agree. I think I wrote a little bit about it, specifically like with my adoptive family, like I definitely feel like I belong with them, or I felt that feeling of belonging and that feeling of Jong, really those bonds that we've forged over a very long time. Got it. And
I just wanted to go, oh, so Korean.
But yeah, like
flex the Korean.
That's all I got.
Look at Mr. Fluent over here. Jeez.
All I got. That's all I got. I literally could not give you any more.
Jong Han 안녕하세요.
I just repeat that. That would be kind of good on a cadence.
Jong Han 안녕하세요.
But when it comes to like community, like where I grew up, I definitely never really felt like I belonged to that community at first, and I really had to go out of my way to make myself feel like that. Which was more chasing acceptance versus actually feeling that sense of belonging. Even though I've made a lot of friends and I still go back there, and I have a lot of affinity for that town. There's Jong there with them. Number 2. So yeah, I think it's, I think at the end of the day, it's just the balance, that nuance in all of our stories. And I know plenty of adoptees who don't have any of that with their adoptive family. And it's not great, and they've never felt like they belong there. And I totally get that. I definitely felt that way in Asian spaces. I felt like I did not belong there. Like, I got to get out of here. And now I don't feel like that. I feel a lot better about it, but I think walking the tightrope, and that's okay.
Yeah, totally. I was just thinking about belonging, and one of the ways that I relate to this kind of idea in a very similar way, but I think is actually indicative of a much deeper thing, is fashion. So one of my earliest memories of not belonging was in elementary school. I was singing the solo. It was a song called "Living in the Heart of America." And it had this like kind of country vibe to it. I still know an embarrassing amount of those words.
You know the words to every song.
I remember. It's not true. I remember the first time I sang it, because I ended up doing it twice, like in 2 different performances. But the first time when I was younger, I had to wear a cowboy hat because, Texas and all that stuff. And it's like, it was a weird thing because I knew that I wasn't really allowed to wear a cowboy hat. Like that Asian cowboy just like did not exist in the late 90s in my brain space. And that just like wasn't, so I was like, I can't do this. Like that was, I think, my first moment of imposter syndrome. If I was to like go back and give little KJ some vocab. But then thinking about, so my wife and I were walking outside of our apartment, and there are a fair amount of Koreans who live near the area or even in this complex, right? And so saw a Korean walk in, and Sarah's just like, oh man, why don't you like ever dress like that? I'm like, I don't know, man, like Korean fashion is so difficult. I don't know, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And we had just watched some TikToks about like life in Korea. Anyways, so I was thinking about like, Patrick, like what you said, I feel comfortable calling myself Asian American and stepping into and embracing and loving that identity and that part of me. But thinking about being Korean, like native Korean, one of the markers for me is when I feel like I have kind of gotten into Korean fashion a little bit. And part of that, I think, is my own hang up about not feeling very fashionable. I've said, I think a couple times on the show, like I had to work really hard to dress like an average white guy. And so now I have to work extra hard to like dress not just like a basic white guy, like sidebar, I remember very specifically in high school, I went over to Sarah's house, and this was like, I think around when we had started, I guess we must have been dating because I was allowed to go over to her house, but like all of her white boy friends came over, and like we were all wearing like the same button down like shirt from like American Eagle, and the distressed jeans and whatever, and all had long hair. But like I was like, oh my god, I'm so basic. But then like I was like, but I felt bad because like I put a lot of work into this outfit and I thought about it really hard, blah blah blah. And I was like, oh my god, I look like all of her dumb friends, and here I am trying to be her dumb boyfriend. And so I think like that's my own hang up, right? Is like once I have gotten the Korean fashion sensibility, then I'll have made it as a Korean. And yet I think that that's really indicative of understanding like where you're from and like kind of belonging to that group. Like in this TikTok, they were like, oh, fashion in Korea is so trendy and everybody hops on the bandwagon and does whatever, right? But like for me, like just the way, obviously like clothes are clothes, but like the way that Koreans put colors together or like layers together, just like my brain doesn't work that way, but I know it when I see it, right? I'm like, oh yeah, that's a Korean like style or whatever. So but I can't do that. But I think if I were able to live there or hang out in a Korean group or whatever, and like get that sensibility, I would be able to put that on. And then I think in some ways feel more comfortable in my own skin, and also feel more comfortable like calling myself Korean, because like in that way I would be more physically presenting as Korean, where opposite of that, like I was like, I don't look like a Texan. I don't look like any of my family or any of my friends or whatever. I can't wear the cowboy hat. Like I just look dumb. I've never worn boots in my life, really. Like
I hate wearing cowboy boots.
Yeah. So I just like, that's like the whole thing, I'm comfortable not doing that now. And at the same time, like love singing the stars at night are big and bright deep in the heart of Texas. Like I love like little things like that, so like it's a weird dance for me of figuring out how I belong to places and how I navigate that like dissonance in that gray area in my head. So Patrick, definitely understand what you're saying about walking that tightrope and feeling like, I don't know, just being between things.
Oklahoma, where the wind goes sweeping down the place. Sorry, I just wanted to jump
back
in.
Home again in Indiana. Okay, all right.
Okay, there we go.
Gary, Indiana. And France are over Spain.
But I think it has a lot to do with how you define it individually. And yeah, I think it pops up everywhere, especially I hadn't thought about it fashion wise, but it really does. Like I remember being like, Mom, we have to go to Abercrombie and Fitch and I have to get these clothes because everybody else has got the clothes. And then after I got them, nobody was wearing that shit anymore. So like, I'm always one step behind. I'm already at a disadvantage. So I just look different. Now I'm one step behind in the cloth game. I don't know. So it was just, it's always a tightrope. And usually I'm not walking across the tightrope, I'm hanging on. And I got my legs wrapped around like
run
this,
straight through the tightrope like it's
down.
the finish line.
Oh yeah, running through.
Yeah,
the
just
tightrope,
obliterate
just tearing it down.
Yeah.
I've grown to giant size like Ant-Man or Giant Man.
Nathan is like, I just come in here
I
with the
didn't
large
care. I
ribbon
made
cutting.
my own tightrope.
He literally
so.
is. He's like,
There
I
you
come
go.
in with large ribbon cutting scissors.
He's like, I just
ceremonial
walk on the
scissors.
ground.
No,
Keep it on the ground.
I loved wearing a cowboy hat, and not specifically in Oklahoma, but after Oklahoma, like because I love country music. I used to listen to country music all the time.
Yeah,
I've been
as
to
I found
country
at
line dancing
karaoke.
bars. I've
Oh,
gone,
yeah.
I sing karaoke country songs. Yeah, right, you guys were there.
Yeah.
We were
It's like, why are you looking for country songs at a norebang?
Yeah, exactly. That was kind of not easy. And yeah, no, I embraced that aspect of it, and it's a good thing because that was some of the ways that my wife and I connected when we first met. So
Wait,
I
Allison's a big country fan
she's
too?
a big country line dancing fan as well. She
Oh
went to
yeah,
UC
the line
Davis.
dancing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember.
And so
Okay.
she listened to a lot of country music, and then when she found out that I did too, her friend was like, "Wow, you need to ask him out. How many other Asians are you going to find
Yeah.
who like country music?"
I remember you telling the story now, specifically in your episode.
That's
100%
really funny.
remembering
Oh
that.
gosh, that was over a year ago. I do.
Yeah, so that is something that I've embraced because I don't think you have to like a genre of music if based on location or race or
you
any
do.
of that stuff. You can do you, right? So
No, you
No,
have to
it's
like
all
the
regional.
right. Yeah.
sure. But wearing the hat, yeah, I stuck out. I'm sure I looked a little interesting at the times I have worn one, but that's okay. I like it. My MySpace, Allison makes fun of me because my MySpace, you could actually have like a nickname or something in quotations, I think, on MySpace. My name was the Korean Cowboy.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hey.
that was way more normal than whatever I thought it was that you were going to respond with. I'm like, all right, here we go. Oh, nope, that's
Vegas
pretty
buffet guy 87.
pretty normal. Yeah, he's
That's
like
pretty
Caesar's Palace Cowboy Buffet.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Buffet
Bone
aficionado.
marrow boy.
But I hear you about the fashion, wanting to fit in with the fashion. Yeah.
Well, I think it's just like you have to know,
Yeah.
like fashion is such a statement of either you don't know, and you're fitting in, or and you're like rebelling against, right?
Right.
Like those are kind of like the three big groups. And so like, but you have to know in order to like know your community, or maybe you have to know your community in order to know like where you stand, in your fashion sense. And I think that is what I mean. Like it's kind of silly to talk about fashion as a way of belonging, but especially like in high school when everybody's trying to figure out who their crowd is, like that's, where it all starts. And then I think as you get more comfortable, you can just be like, yeah, whatever. I'm a dad. And so I'll wear my Skechers and my cargo shorts and whatever. But having that communal knowledge.
Yeah.
Did I just call out exactly what you're wearing?
Whatever.
Okay. I bet
Sorry,
my
I
dad's
just heard-
wearing the same thing.
I just
actually.
heard a number of people being like, "Why do dads always wear Skechers and cargo shorts?"
That's
Anyway,
interesting. I'm never going to wear
functional
Skechers.
and affordable.
yeah,
Leave me alone.
Functional,
I shouldn't say
affordable,
never, but-
comfortable. But
I'm never going to wear Skechers.
but yeah, it's just like it's one of those things that you have to know the community in order to position yourself with that fashion. And so it feels silly, but also I think indicative of some deeper things, even far and beyond. Maybe not beyond, but like in a similar way to language and specifically idioms and those kinds of things. So yeah.
Yeah.
So to dig a little deeper, KJ, I know you've been to Korea, but you were 16 or so at the time. How did you feel when you were there as far as any relation to belonging? Did you feel like you belonged in that country?
Sort of. I think I was probably younger than that. I was probably like 13 or 14. Okay. And I remember, I think the timeline checks out here. I might be misremembering, but I remember getting a bowl cut because I was in middle school and I wanted a more Asian hairstyle. And I didn't know, because the internet isn't the same then as it is now, but like I didn't know what I could do to have an Asian hairstyle, but I knew that
had the internet.
That is sure. That is what I had when I was younger, I think. And like I had seen some other Asian photos or Asian people with the bowl cut. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. And then I'm pretty sure I rocked that to Korea and was like, nah, this is not right. Or it could have been the opposite way where I went to Korea and then I was like, I need you know what I mean? Where like, I don't know if it was like, I was found out by going to Korea or I went to Korea and then I was like, oh, I want this. And then I met some Asian friends and I was like, what am I doing? I'm in America. So, and I look like a dweeb because it's a yearbook photo. Where
I think I had a bowl cut for one of my yearbook photos.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know.
We need to post those on the after party.
Yeah, I'll try to find it. But I think I was too young to really get like fitting or belonging in Korea. I was just enraptured by like the travel and the being there and the seeing and the doing and the experiencing and the eating, but wasn't really able to think much deeper on that, because also at the time, like I had just moved schools. And so I was still trying to find community that way. Like that's like way too much for a young KJ to like try to parse out,
Yeah.
So.
Even the language, like Kevin, like we talk about that all the time, but like I definitely know as a kid that I didn't have the language to talk about what belonging was and why I felt like I either didn't belong or to the community, but did belong to or felt like I felt belonging with my family and my friends. But at the same time, I was all based on like way more emotionally deep, whatever, like the trauma of abandonment. But when I was 13, I didn't know any of that. I was like, man, I got to be louder. I don't think anybody can hear me. And now that's been detrimental for the next 17 years of my life. Total detriment, but it's fine.
It's carried over, you mean?
Live and learn.
Yeah, it has carried over. It really has never gotten any better. It's gotten worse, but it's fine.
It's gotten worse.
Nathan, as you've been separated from your time in Korea, I think probably because like it was coupled with seeing your family, like have you thought about Korea as a nation and like your position with it versus like outside of just like your birth family scope?
No, I mean, as far as a nation of living there, I feel like I didn't get enough time there for sure. So I have I guess you could say I have a sense of longing to go back, to explore more, to get more of the culture and not just the folk villages that I went to and the meals that I had with my family, which in a way is, most of what I would do there anyway is I would hang out with family and stuff. I can't say that doing the touristy things would bring me a sense of, of Korean culture to myself or emotionally or internally or anything like that. So it would just be my travel bug in me that I would love to do some of the crazy, Korean things and see more of Lotte World and, I don't know, go to the top of the tower and just the touristy stuff, see the sights, see the temples. But I did have a good time. I did feel like I saw a lot of it when I was there, even only in 3 days. So I do wish I had a translator so that I could have gotten a little more explanation on some things. But, so most of my desire to go back is to see my family, but also to see a little bit more of the parts that I missed. So it'll be interesting to see if I can do that, especially if, say, we all do a Janchi to Korea someday, where all of us go. It would be.
You paying?
It'd be an interesting thing. Yeah, I'll pay.
I'm in, and no takesies backsies.
That's what the buy me coffee is for.
Yeah, we're sorry. We're just giving this update that the buy me coffee tiers are going up to $50,000, so we can go to Korea.
$50,000,
just 1 year's salary, and we're going to Korea.
That's fine.
It's fine.
Just gotta wait for my Bitcoin to hit 100,000. Even Logan.
I'm down. I'll hop on your Bitcoin, no problem.
So yeah, I don't know, Patrick. Have you ever thought about that, of having any belonging feelings if you went to Korea? Because I know you want to, but
yeah, for sure. I think that it took a long time to get to the point where I was like, I'm Asian enough as a person, and if I can become more culturally competent in Korean culture and other Asian American culture, that would be great. And that will be great as I continue on that journey. I think I'm still parsing through that. So I don't know. I don't know when I'm going to get to Korea, to be honest. I will at some point, but I don't know. We'll see. And I think it'll really just kind of wash over me as I get there. And
the Hallyu
then
will hit you in the face.
I'll pull my phone out and I'll get on Instagram Live and I'll be like, Nathan, do you remember on Friday, November 12th, when we were recording a solo episode, he asked me how I felt about belonging? Well, boy, do I have some thoughts.
And Nathan will be like, Patrick, it's 2 a.m. in the morning. Go away.
Yeah.
What did I answer this phone call that's actually an Instagram Live?
And there's 7 people watching. I'm furious. Yeah,
This
but
isn't even
I
good
mean,
content.
I definitely think about it just whenever I get over there, I just haven't had the privilege to take that step yet. So, I don't know. It's like, yeah, I'm still working on it in my own communities here. So, and making sure or working to feel like I truly belong in those spaces. So, like KJ said earlier, a lot of imposter syndrome, trying to combat all that. So, yeah.
You know what's interesting? And I just put this language together while you were talking. And as I was listening to you just, talk about how you hope to be in Korea and what you expect that'll be like, I was like, man, this whole thing about belonging, for me at least, it's like I am constantly working to not feel dumb. Like, I think that's a major motivator for me and a major motivator for wanting to learn about the culture and the language and like what it means to be Korean, etc. Like, I've got being American down in that no one understands really what it means to be American.
Right.
So like, I will happily join the foolish masses trying to like walk our way through the toddler ship of the United States of America. But like, Koreans have an identity, like it is millennia old, and I think that there is like such a strong sense of that. And like, I know that I'm a part of that tradition. I was talking with a friend / fan of the show about like ancestors and stuff. And I was like, I understand like the idea of ancestry and all that, but I've literally never thought about my own ancestors. And so that was like an interesting moment. But this whole thing about belonging, yeah, like I realized that one of my internal motivators for seeking after belonging and wanting to understand it and think critically about it, whatever, and to belong is to not feel dumb. Like that's one of my major, like I don't want to appear foolish. I don't want to feel foolish, because it's like if I appear foolish, then I am foolish. And if I am foolish, then I'm not smart. And like those are like some really deeply held identities for me. Like I am smart is a thing that like I just hold in my brain about myself, my heart, I guess, about myself. And so like anytime that like something comes up abrasive against that, I'm like, I don't like that, and yet this is a thing, like my lack of belonging with Koreanness or my lack of belonging with the adoptee community or my lack of belonging or, belonging in those spaces. Like those are things that regularly cause me to question one of those like core identity statements about myself. So yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting, but like, I'm glad, I guess that in having this conversation, I found that language and I found out that like internal motivator. So thank you for the free therapy. You are
not welcome. I will be sending an invoice to your email inbox.
All right. Well,
if we all go, if
I'm
we
paying
all go
Katie the
together
cat
to
all of
Korea.
my Bitcoin, so I'm actually out of Bitcoin. So
that's all right.
However
that's
you,
right.
okay.
And if we all go to Korea, we
sweep
can
it
be
up.
fools together. So that was,
Yeah.
Nice.
But you
Fluent
are
fools.
very welcome. I like it when we find new language on the show. That's fun. But speaking of
new
fun,
things.
Whoa.
I think it might be time to
dual
go
transition.
to our food portion. We'll be right back after this short musical cue.
Ooh.
Welcome back. It is the Janchi
thank
Show food portion. Food portion. Today we are going to have a short discussion about a seasoning, not necessarily a food.
I mean,
But-
it's not. Yeah, no, I guess that's accurate. That's
I
fine.
mean, I think
Are we
it's
getting technical?
I think it's a seasoning.
All right.
It says
It
seasoning
does say
on the package.
multi-purpose seasoning mix.
So
All right. Well, this is another item from Nathan's mystery box. So, Nathan, why don't you tell us a little bit about this
I don't know
item
that it's a
that we're
mystery
gonna try.
box because he didn't wrap them, but maybe Nathan's box of goodies.
Box of goodies. I like it.
my box of goodies contains the O Food Gochujang Gochujang Kick, which actually, so I saw at the store, there's 3 different bottles.
Okay.
So
mine is Kimchi Kick.
okay. So I did get so I got different ones. Which one did you get?
He got a different one. I
Yeah.
have gochujang.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I got the
see?
gochujang one too.
So when I said in that
Wow.
other episode about you sending me different stuff, I confirmed. It is confirmed that happens.
That's
My
right.
bad.
That's all good.
Enjoy it. So,
I will. I said it smelled like kimchi.
So there's one other. So there's a kimchi, there's a gochujang, and then there's a Korean barbecue or something like that, or just barbecue, I think it is. But there was 3 different flavors, and so they all sounded good, honestly. But yeah, now I'm curious. Dang it! Like yours is just a little.
Okay,
bit
well, I'm going to
different.
read the description of our gochujang kick. This one says, adored for balancing savory, sweet, and spicy flavors, gochujang brings thrill to the table. Our unique gochujang seasoning blends chilies, garlic, onion, and more. It's fermented, so it's the real thing, and it's dried, so you can use gochujang like never before. Shake, dust, sprinkle, rub, give a Korean kick to whatever you create.
Yes,
Store in a dry place
I
to
like
drink
that.
before using to prevent caking.
I'm going to read mine now. The Kimchi Kick. A Korean treasure full of umami flavor, spicy, salty, tangy, and delicious. We combined real kimchi with garlic, sesame, onion, and ginger to create this innovative dry seasoning blend. Shake, dust, sprinkle, rub. Give a Korean kick to whatever you create.
Okay, well, that just feels like copy and paste.
Yeah, I know.
That last one definitely was.
So I looked in my other box because I bought 4, and I have 1 of each. So yep,
That makes
okay.
sense.
yeah. Now I have
Gotcha.
1, but
There you go. You can always
wait,
try it.
do either of your things have Korean written up in the top right corner by the label?
Yeah. I thought it was a QR code at first.
Yeah,
but
I did
it is-
too. But this one
is
says 할머니는 한국인. So
Is that what
I
mine
think it's
says?
like yes,
mm.
it's Korean grandma something.
Yeah.
But
I know what
yeah.
halmoni means.
Well,
An apogee.
as everyone knows, I like salt. So
That is true.
if this is a spicy salt, then I was all for it, and so that's why I bought it. KJ, you were the first to try it. How did
Yeah.
you use yours?
So I just put it on my tongue. Oh, it has such a different flavor. Wow.
No.
So
Now
when
you got
I
me interested.
cooked with it, my mother-in-law had made like, I'm pretty sure. Hey, Sarah, was it Paula Deen's? Yeah. Okay. Paula Deen's mac and cheese, which was not my favorite. It's like baked mac and cheese with egg in it. I don't know.
Ooh.
But it's like pretty dairy heavy, pretty creamy. So I added a bunch of this into the mac and cheese, and that like just pushed it in a whole new direction. And I thought it was really delicious and wonderful. So yeah,
Nice.
yeah, that's how I used it.
I
As
can
a
see this
seasoning
being
to
good on mac and cheese.
Yeah. This would definitely
Damn,
be.
now
a
I
good-
want some mac and cheese later.
So wait till you hear how I used it. I made some chicken nuggets because, of course, my kids love chicken nuggets. So
Food like butter.
I put it all over my chicken nuggets, and I just sprinkle it all over, and then I put it on some ramen too.
I
So
thought you were
mean-
going to say it was about a year ago when you went to Caesar's Palace buffet and you just put it
I
on
sprinkled
all
it on
the
my
items.
bone marrow.
You put it on the
Yes.
buffet items,
Dude,
though.
this
Not
probably
even
would
his
be
own
good on
plate.
bone
He
marrow.
just did the whole buffet.
No,
He
this.
dusted
I
with-
think this stuff would be good on. I mean, it was good on my chicken nuggets, but I think it would be good on French fries. I think it would be good on scrambled
Oh
eggs.
yeah,
Oh yeah,
I
this
think
would be good
You know,
on all those.
it's
think
an
it would be
incredibly
good.
versatile seasoning.
yeah. I mean, I really do. And so it wasn't just H Mart that I found this. I saw it there first, but then recently I saw it actually at my local grocery store too. So who knows? It may be spreading around. So you guys check your
Food got that
check your-
distribution.
check your grocery stores. You might find it. Food.
Nice. Patrick, try your kimchi.
I tried a little dab of it, and I will say it's very heavy on the salt. Hence the salt content. But I think it's got a decent kimchi flavoring. It's on the leaning towards the garlic side, I would say.
Do you like garlic?
I do like garlic. We
Okay.
use garlic on almost everything. Actually, I think like garlic powder or salt in place of traditional salt, usually. So no, but I think this is really good. I think it would be really good on all of those different items. And I, for one, I'm more of a seasoning like this than a paste or like a sauce person.
Yeah.
I like sauce, but I would
Wait,
rather
really?
season. Yeah. I like sauce, but I would rather season.
I like
so,
both.
yeah.
Now
I like both, but
now you're making me think. What if I put this on a steak?
That'd probably be good.
Oh my gosh, that would
Whoa.
be amazing.
I want that one. I want the
Yeah.
Actually, gochujang, this gochujang seasoning I think it would be similar because it's got a lot of sugar in it. So there's a rub that I use that actually you can, well, it's my own version, but you can buy a version of it at Trader Joe's. It's like that coffee rub. And I think that because the coffee rub it's like obviously ground coffee and then salt, pepper, and some brown sugar and garlic and onion powders. Like they have actually, I think, a fairly similar flavor palette, obviously minus the gochujang. But that's like my favorite steak seasoning is that coffee rub. And so I think this would be, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I'm going to have to go cook a steak. All right, I'm going to go 5 out of 5. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
All right. Well, Nathan, KJ's giving it a 5. Nathan, what are you going to give yours?
Yeah, I already think it's a 5 too, just because it is so tasty. 0 calories. So,
good for you.
Not that bad. It says 2% for a fourth a teaspoon, 2% sodium. So of your daily sodium, but yeah, no,
it's a lot.
Hey, it doesn't have MSG in it, so I'm all on board there. Again, I'm fine with the ingredients. I like it. 5 out of 5.
Nathan's stamp of approval on the non-MSG.
I know.
inclusion.
Yeah, but he eats seaweed, so come on, man.
Come on, man.
If you're going to eat some MSG, you got to say yes to all MSG, okay?
Yeah, we're not MSGist on the show. I'll give my Kimchi Kick.
All MSG matters, but that probably isn't a good thing.
I'm giving it a 5 out of 5 prospectively because I have not used it on anything yet. But I think it does taste really good. I'm actually upset I don't have the gochujang one because I think that has I don't know. It's probably a little bit sweeter than hotter, and this does have it has the kick in it. I think I can tell, and that might just be the salt. But I'll give it a 5 out of 5 for now.
I'm gonna have to open my kimchi one just to compare now. So, but
do it right now.
Do it right now.
I would also say another great use for this would be popcorn seasoning.
Ooh,
yeah,
that's
popcorn.
a good. Okay, I'm gonna have to try that
too.
Uh-huh.
All right. Well, while you're whipping that open, KJ, where can people find us to either tell us good stuff or whatever?
Yeah. So as Nathan is forming his opinion, you can reach us at the Janchi Show at justlikemedia.com. Janchi Show at justlikemedia.com or at Janchi Show on any social platform. You can leave us a 5-star review on the Apple Podcast app. And if you do so, we will read what you wrote, whether it is good or bad or somewhere in between. You can support the show and or get your own swag at the Janchi Show. Nope, it's just at janchishow.com/support or /shop or /merch or /store. I don't know. I think I have a bunch of redirects going on. So that's what's up. Whoa, Nathan had to chase his kimchi salt. So now I'm curious. What
let's
do you think of it?
Yeah, it's spicier, number one.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, here for it.
Not as sweet. So yeah, the
double here for it.
The gochujang's got more sugar, I think, in it. The Kimchi Kick has more sodium in it. It's 55 milligrams versus 40. So it's just a little saltier and a little spicier. So yeah, I'm excited to try them for different reasons now. Now I'm going to have to compare them. I'm going to have to take like an omelet and do one side with this and one side with that. So.
That reminds me, if someone could write in and say what the Korean word for umami is, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
I just know that if Jerry ever hears this episode, he's going to be like, how dare you say a Japanese word on your Korean podcast? So.
He will say that.
So someone could, if that word exists in the Korean dictionary, if they could translate it for us, that'd be great.
That would be great. Leave us a 5-star review and also what the translation is.
Yeah, if you could just tell us
the
what
review
that is. Yeah.
Maybe there's not a translation. Maybe they use the Japanese word for it. Like
Nathan.
Like we use, like when we call tacos. I mean, come on.
Wait.
Okay, is that the same?
All right, Nathan, where can people find you at on the
Besides Caesar Palace, am I right? Hey-o!
Hey, the size of the buffet of Caesar Palace.
I had that coming. You can find me at Nowak on Instagram, and thank you for everyone new who's been following me. So
yeah, well, thanks for doing all the work, putting out that great content, man.
Yeah, plug the show more. You can find me at Patrick in the World on Instagram. I am currently coming off of a break, about to go back on another one for the holiday. I also have some other cool stuff that I'm going to be announcing soon, working on a really big project surrounding citizenship. So stay tuned for that.
He's found the city of Atlantis and he's working on getting his green card. Spoilers.
Yeah, I'm trying to get through immigration to become a citizen of Atlantis. The lost city. All right.
With Theo. Theo, what's his face? I'm trying to pull down literally any characters from Disney. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure it's Theo. Theodore?
I think it is Theo.
Yeah. 2 for flinching. Okay. Anyways, that is it for this week. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We will see you the next time that you decide to turn on our podcast. Okay. Goodbye.
Okay. See you.
I mean, wait. Janchi, heyo.
Heyo. Bye.
Heyo and goodbye.